Live from the Export Beer Garden Studios, this is an abridged version of the Agenda podcast for Friday, the 16th of February.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
Day 4 of the second test against South Africa promises to be historic, Lane, and it is starting in just 20 minutes at the time of recording this, so you'll forgive us if we're a little bit brief today.
Because we've got to get on and do the commentary, don't we?
Got to get on and do the commentary. I am very excited about this match. We'll get onto it in just a second, but how's the body feeling after the Bronco?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
I am not too bad. I must admit, I bent over this morning and felt my hammies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt my hammies, but I was quite stoked with our effort.
Yep.
Both of our efforts.
I don't know if we can say what our times are because they didn't put the video out, although we definitely both said our times on the commentary yesterday. Bowden Barrett and Cam Roigard have nothing to worry about.
Oh, no, but there is a surprise upset.
Oh, a very surprise upset.
Tune into our socials today to check it out. The TAB challenged us. There was Blake Ashford, there was Paul Mawadi, myself, Manaia Stewart, and Jeremy Wells. Big crowd too turned up.
Huge crowd.
There was corporate tents. There was everything.
Gazebos. They may or may not have been there for the touch tournament. Who are we to say?
And Monty Beetham, good hype guy.
Monty Beetham, great hype guy. He was giving me heaps as I was running. He was sort of like running backwards alongside me, interviewing me. I was like,
He came up to me and I was like,
yeah. Because I told him about how I'd had a big feed of KFC the night before, obviously Valentine's Day. And he's just like, how long did it take you to do the bucket of KFC? I was like, 4 minutes, 11. He took that as me bragging. I was like, no, bragging about my KFC deleting expertise.
Not running.
Yeah. And then he's like, how's that 411 feeling now? I was like, no, I'm saying the KFC bucket. Anyway, that video will be out at some point, so look forward to that. As Lane said, huge upset in there, so keep an eye out for that one. Day 3 recap, disaster is the headline really for us, isn't it, Lane?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It was tedious for most of it, right up until about the third session where we started getting going a little bit, a few wickets started to fall, and then we went in. And it couldn't have gone much worse than with 2 balls left to go in the day's play, Conway just gets absolutely cleaned up by the pedo. And we finished the day on 40 for 1. We're still 227 runs away from a record chase at Seddon Park and an historic victory over South Africa. So
we just leaked too many runs. Just going back to their innings, we leaked. Way too many runs. It was so frustrating to watch. Anyway, steady the ship. Tom Latham in there. They'll be looking their first goal, get it under 200, the target. Their next goal, get it under 150. Getting 100, and then we're there.
Figure it out.
Yeah, we figure it out from there.
And if that takes us all day, would you be happy enough with that?
Absolutely happy with that. If it goes into tomorrow, I don't care.
Yeah.
But we just cannot be 5 down.
Yeah.
Because we start to expose our tail, which starts at 8 with Matt Henry. Yeah. The top six today have to win us this test. That is their job.
Top 5 remaining.
Yeah, top 5 remaining. Yeah. The bowlers did their job. O'Rourke, 9 wickets on debut. 9 for 90 something.
9 for 93.
Yeah,
I took a 5 for in the second innings. What a Test debut! That is a new best mark by a New Zealander on debut on Test match debut over the 2 innings.
Yeah.
Who had the record up until then?
He's a spinner.
Yes, he is.
Mark.
He took 8 for 188 against the West Indies in 2014. He has 2 first names.
Mark Craig David.
Mark Craig.
Craig David.
Mark Craig is the man. That was an historic effort from O'Rourke. God, you'd be happy with that, wouldn't you?
I don't.
If he never played again for the Black Caps,
I think he would have been happy with a 1 wicket.
Yeah.
On debut, but he got 9. Good on him. Maybe have ruled out Wagner for the Aussie series because you think they're going to bring back Jameson. So you got Jameson, O'Rourke, Southey, and Henry.
You're saying for the tests?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm picking for the tests against Aussie. Those 4 pacemen are going to be in the team.
Why wouldn't we have Trent Bolt in the team?
He's not available. He's only doing T20s.
Oh, he's only doing T20s, right.
Yep.
But that whole contract thing with Trent Bolt, I was just like...
Oh, maybe. Look, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just presuming that's the case. But look, there may be a change of heart, and if he's available for test matches, hell yeah.
Yeah. So this morning then, Lane, where's the money going? I know you've sprinkled a bit around.
It's on New Zealand at the moment. I've sprinkled quite a lot on Kane Williamson.
Yep.
I've got him top scoring for us. I've got money on Latham and Williamson getting 50s.
Yep, because they need to.
Yeah, and I've just gone for a bit of a silly one with the first sessions. I quite like the first session bets.
Well, because if you win, you can reinvest.
Yeah, so basically for the first session, I've got 1+ runs being scored off any 2 of the first 3 balls.
I'll follow Jen on that one too.
So like that just has to be a single and a 2 or whatever. Because thing is, I find out about the South African bowlers, they may be trundling kind of clubbies, but they're dangerously accurate. They're always making us play.
Yeah.
Like we bowled too many, they allowed them to leave the ball, but they punishing me on the off stump the whole time. They're quite relentless. So that's why I'm thinking we're going to get those runs.
I find the Mariki bowler to be like that. You can see exactly what he's doing, or she, every time they bowl the ball. And it's like, I'm going to, like, wide Yorker, this one's coming back on the thing. And there's never like a, ooh, that was a loosener, you know?
You say she. What you're not saying...
I don't want to presume the agenda.
Okay, right. Okay, that's fair enough.
Mariki bowler, you watch them bowl today and you make your own decisions. But yesterday we were talking on the commentary about, in sort of the waning times where we were really, really struggling to get a wicket. We're talking about most embarrassing sporting stories.
Yeah.
For me, there was a time where I ran out for the Waimate under-18s and was really giving it to the boys, geeing them up, and then was reminded by the coach, hey, you're actually starting on the bench, so if you could get off the fucking field, you loser, and go and sit down. And then I had to sit down. And really copped it from the rest of the boys. There was a time at a representative basketball tournament where I had my shot blocked and then was dunked on by the same player down the other end of the...
double whammy.
Yeah, very confronting. I think I was like 16 playing against 17-year-olds. I had not seen a person dunk in the flesh.
And he did it on top of you.
Yeah, got a first row seat to that one. But what about yourself?
Mine has to be my end of my touch career.
Yeah.
I think I've told you this one, and it's down at Victoria Park, and I've never played a game of touch since, and this was 10 years ago. Not played ever since. And we used to play down there quite a lot, and we played a Tongan family.
Oh, yeah?
Down there.
And they family team?
They entered a family team. So you had mum, dad, and then there was about 3 or 4 kids and a few cousins. So there was the mum and dad were the playmakers. They were like, and they were tidy operators. They were very well drilled.
Yeah.
Anyway, we didn't have a bad team either. But then I got put into a gap about kind of just before halfway. Short ball in the gap. They weren't like, when you coast, when someone hits the gap and they beat the defensive line. And I started coasting, and I just took the bra, and I just slowed down, turned down a couple of gears as I trotted to the line, and then I could hear behind me and I was like, what the fuck is that? And I turned around, and the mum, the Tongan mum, who was a short squat, but she was a ball of muscle, was like running after me, and I got the fright of my life, and I turned, and I was like, shit, she's going to catch me. And then I tried to accelerate, I've tripped over my own feet. I'm talking Vic Park summer here, so it's concrete, the ground.
Yeah.
I trip, I fall, I smack my head on the ground, the ball bobbles forward, I am semi-conscious, a metre short of the line, and then she comes and picks up the ball, doesn't ask for my welfare or anything. I come to, shake my head, and I was like, what the fuck? And I look up, and all my teammates are all rolling around on the floor laughing. The whole sideline is laughing. I got up, I was a little bit dizzy, I walked off the field, I got in my car, and I've never played touch again. God bless that Tongan mum. She had some wheels. You know those people that are quite short and squat, but just their legs go like at 100 miles an hour.
Joe Jury does this.
Yeah.
He's got Fred Flintstone sort of legs.
Yeah.
You see the Fred Flintstone legs hanging out the bottom of his roller thing there.
Just fright of my life. Yeah, nearly killed myself.
Absolutely mowed you
Never
down.
again.
And just finally on cricket, Rolf Harris, someone's finally put a stop to him. He's been out there doing all sorts of dastardly deeds, but he's finally been caught. Ralph's contract was cancelled by the Pakistani Cricket Board on Thursday after he refused to tour Australia for a 3-test series last year. And he's also been banned from T20 leagues until June 30th. When does the T20 World Cup start?
Oh, about then.
About then. So I reckon they've done themselves a solid and let his ban come up at the, at the start of selection for the T20 World Cup.
Well, I don't blame Rolf Harris for not wanting to tour Australia.
He's not popular there.
No, not very. No, I mean, that's his country of origin, but...
hasn't been back there in a long time.
I know, yeah.
And I dare say they would have tore his thing up at customs anyway.
Yeah, he would have opened up some old wounds.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that's the cricket wrapped up. A quick break here, and we'll be back with more of the agenda. NRL Lane,
yes.
The National Rugby League, the first preseason game, if you can believe this, was last night.
Where do they play that? Do they have to water the crap out of the grounds? Because how hard is the ground going to be over in Aussie?
Oh, yeah, when it's like 30 degrees.
Yeah.
They played this, it was Bulldogs versus the Storm. I forget the name of the Bulldogs' home ground, but they played it there. 24-12. You can't really read too much into preseason games at all. But the most exciting thing was Ryan Pappenhausen was back. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's the guy who looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. He's got the big flowing mullet out the back. He's the fullback for the Storm. And when he runs, he puts his head down, and he looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. Just
like the chin to the chest. That's very Bodie.
Chin to the chest, yeah.
Bodie Barrett does that. When he sees a gap, his chin goes down, and
and that's just pure exertion. He had shattered his kneecap into, I think, 16 pieces a couple of years ago, came back, and within about 2 games last year, had that horrific ankle break, where the foot comes out to the side. Yeah, so a hell of a couple of years for Lil Pappenhausen, but he is back for the Storm, and we wish him the best. The NRL All-Stars are tonight. If you haven't already, go back and listen to our interview with Adam Blair from earlier this week. He is the coach. I keep wanting to say captain. He's the coach of the Māori All-Stars, and they're playing tonight at 7:30 p.m. That one's going to be live on Sky Open.
Yep.
So if you've just got free-to-air TV, you can watch that, which will be awesome.
The old Primes. If people don't go, well, I haven't got Sky Open. It's the old Prime channel.
You do have it.
Yeah.
So just go and find that. 7:30 p.m. NRL game is just the bee's knees. On a Friday night, you get home, you unwind for a little bit. You've probably got tea sussed by then. Crack a beer, watch the NRL All-Stars game.
You don't have to get up tomorrow.
You don't have to get up tomorrow until, at the worst, you might have to get up at 11 to watch the Black Caps continue an historic run chase. But
no kids sport, so there's no excuses.
Oh, it's just tremendous. And the Warriors play on Sunday. They're playing their first preseason game. RTS back into the squad, and Andrew Webster was asked about RTS by every journalist who came within a kilometre of him for the last year. But most recently, he said there are certain habits and things that he's picked up that he's had to correct and get back to rugby league, and he has done a really good job. But it made me think, what kind of things could he possibly have picked up while he was playing rugby? Like, is he trying to clean rucks out? Could you imagine they get up to play the ball and RTS just comes out and grass cuts the guy playing the ball?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is he kicking too much? Is he resetting scrums too often?
Yeah, I know. That's a good question. I don't.
What it'll be little things like field position, where he stands when they're running the ball, like he'll just be a step too flat, or like he's trying to tackle in a certain way.
But I'd say it would come back to him pretty quickly.
I reckon it would.
Yeah.
I reckon it would, and I'm very excited to see how he goes. And I also love these kind of preseason things because there's not a lot of times where you would see someone of RTS's caliber lining up in a preseason match like that. So you're going to have some reserve grade guys who are just trying to find their feet, probably haven't played first grade before.
And then you got RTS coming
RTS coming at you. And it's like, oh, Jesus, how are we going to figure that out? So that is going to be very exciting to see. And Super Rugby, the preseason continues. Feels like it's been going on for a minute now. 3 games this afternoon.
Yep.
And you are commentating one of them.
Yeah. So myself, Tony Lyle, and James McConey are commentating the Blues versus the Chiefs at 4 p.m. this afternoon. It's from Onua Domain, home of the mini Battle of the Bridges between North Harbour and Auckland. And that is on NZR Plus and Sky Sport. So check that out, free on NZR Plus. You just have to download that app and it's free, or if you've got Sky, you can watch that. So yeah, that's going to be good. I mean, we got given the brief by New Zealand Rugby. Have a bit of fun with it.
They all say that. They all say that until they get it.
So tune in. You could hear a game of 2 halves. You could hear an ACC commentary in the first half and full missionary position in the second. Hopefully not.
Hurricanes versus Moana Pacifica, that's at 2:30 in Wellington. Crusaders versus Highlanders in Methven, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, Methven.
I used to love these because growing up down south, you'd only get a Crusaders game in your neck of the woods, just in pre-season. And the place would pack out. Everyone's there. Everyone loved to see it. And still, to this day, one of my most traumatic sporting viewership memories, watching Willie Hines snap his shin clean in half, non-contact injury, was just trying to step, and his leg just exploded. And you could hear it echo around Alpine Energy Stadium down there in Timaru.
Gross. I love Methven. It's a place dear to my heart.
Really?
We tried to do a snow festival there.
Oh, yeah.
And we wanted to call it Meth Fest.
Yep. Makes sense.
Apparently they weren't keen on that. They said it would attract a different kind of crowd.
I don't think a meth head's out there going, oh, they've got one for us. You know, I think people, even meth heads, would have been like, oh, I get the pun. You know?
Yeah, I know. It was funny. It never got off the ground.
Because if that's how easy advertising was, we'd all be billionaires. You know?
But imagine if you did Meth Fest and just went global and just meth heads from around the world came to Meth Fest.
Yeah. Have you heard about what's going on down in New Zealand?
They got a Meth Fest. They got a Meth Fest.
Fest. It's like Burning Man, but you're just burning yourself out. As I said, Hurricanes playing at 2:30.
Yep.
Satyrs, Landers, Blues, Chiefs, and Lane and McConey and Lyle will be commentating that at 4 p.m. And just quickly before we have to get out of here for the cricket coverage, the Great Lynn Woolworths has deployed a range of measures to address a bird issue.
Oh, this is getting out of control now, isn't it? This whole supermarket wildlife situation.
It's hilarious. We were talking about it on the commentary the other day, but they've released a formal statement about how seriously they're taking it. Birds can carry diseases that kill humans.
When was the last bird that killed someone?
Bubonic plague, surely, back in the day. Or make them seriously ill and can contaminate food. Supermarkets are ideal for pests to live and multiply it as they have food, warmth, and shelter. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, we took your text the other day. The Fiordland moose, I think, was seen at the Te Anau Foursquare. The Waitakere Yeti was up in Warkworth.
How terrifying would it be from an animal, though, if you go into a supermarket? Imagine you found yourself in the meat produce section. You'd be like, ah! Fuck! Those sparrows would be looking at those chickens that have been skinned and bagged.
Oh my God. Have you seen what they're doing in there? Fuck, man.
It's whole rows of slaughtered animals. And these animals are like, get me the fuck out of this place immediately. And then so people are going, kill them. And like, no, I'm trying to get out of here.
It's a horror movie. It's grounds for a horror movie. And to a final story, we talked about yesterday, the Super Bowl. There was a shooting at the Super Bowl, and I don't know if you saw who the victim was. It was a radio DJ. Was the only person that's been reported killed right now. And my pessimistic mind sort of goes to pulling you behind the curtain in radio. Every time a big sponsor comes to us, they want the same thing. They want something to go viral. They want everyone to talk about it. And when I was in charge of coming up with promos for Hodaki, I would reply to any of them with public beheading. If you want something viral, if we could just summon up a viral video out of our ass, we'd do it. But so I think what's happened here is that radio station's received a brief. Yep. They said, we want viral, we want talkability, we want everybody in the world talking about it. And they said, I've got an idea for you.
Just shoot the DJ in the head.
At the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade.
That's a big call.
Yep, that's a huge call.
It's a big call. Hey, do you like Super Bash? Starts next week on Tuesday. The Super Bash. Oh no, not next week. Week after. Sorry, the 27th. After the double headers at Eden Park. So if you want to go hit a 6, win $5,000 actually. Plus we've got $1,000 cash to give away with the Topper Leader NZ's 7th ball. So you get 6 balls you face. We give you a free one. Hit that for 6, you get $100. Get onto it. The Dulux Super Bash. Get online and check that out.
All right, we're going to get out of here because I can see the Black Caps starting to make their way down towards the pitch. Enjoy your cricket today. Please do join us on iHeartRadio, and we will see you on Monday for another episode of the Agenda Podcast.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.